This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Call Rowena now. The number is 240-9962 or 1-800-570-9962. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
Good morning and welcome to the show. This is Rowena Patton on the Real Estate News Radio Show. And today, let's just take a moment to honor the lives lost and heroes of 9/11 as we remember those awful events of that day. You know, we had the anniversary this week, obviously. And, you know, let's find some strength and unity in our country. Maybe that'll happen at some point. So it's interesting because our parents and our grandparents remember JFK being shot. I wasn't quite born at that point, so I don't remember that. Randy, you probably don't remember it either, do you?
Third grade.
So you remember being little bitty, basically.
Yeah, you're off mic there. There you go.
Oh, I'm back. It was so profound. I got off mic. I'm off camera too because it's all like weird on here. It's just one of those days. There we go. So yeah, I just wanted to. So it's been a week of remembrance, really, Randy. Have you found that on all the other shows you've done this week?
Oh yeah. Day off. The 11th of the month, was that Thursday? I'd have to look here. I think so. Yeah. Especially that day. Lots of ceremonies all around our region, all around town. Firefighters.
It hit me more this year.
Really?
I'm not sure why. I just, remembered where I was at the time, of course, which we do every year. But there was something, I don't know, more solemn about it this year. Maybe it's because it's what's going on in our nation. You know, the constant arguments.
An election year.
Is that a very small way of putting it? The constant arguments.
It's an election year.
Yeah.
And those are always tumultuous.
True. It just seems more divided than ever and more just, it's like, really? It's like the world's gone crazy, you know? It's either all over the left or all over the right. And, Oh my gosh, really, guys? Anyway, enough of that stuff. And I think thoughts and prayers out to all the, all of us who remember it, it still hits hard. And there's many of us have kids who are not old enough to remember it happening, which is strange. You know, we always heard about JFK, and you were little bitty, Randy, so you remember it a little bitty bit, But when it actually happens in your lifetime, it's something that none of us will ever forget. You can't forget it. And yet our kids weren't even alive. And a lot of those kids of people who passed don't remember the people who passed, their fathers, their mothers, and that lives with those families forever. It never goes away. My grandparents, I was raised by my grandparents, and they lost a son at 15, and that stayed with them the rest of their lives. My grandma had a portrait by her bedside table. She kissed him every night. I thought it was perfectly normal. I grew up with that. But I can attest to, obviously it just never goes away. Okay, let's hop over to our first segment, our honey-do list.
Oh, yeah? You ready?
I think so. We're going to talk about all the things that you wish you'd thought of when you built your house, and as well as, what's on your honey-do list to get it ready for sale.
What's on your list today? What needs to get done? Home improvement, home maintenance. Let's have some fun. Check it off, check it twice, don't delay. It's the honey-do list, getting things done your way.
They might become little earworms, don't you think, Randy?
Oh, can you just imagine hubby waking up and hearing that on Saturday morning? You're going to cause a divorce spike rate here.
So that's a honey-do list. So I thought I've got one for you today. We did a whole show on this last week and the week before. Of course, you can always find those at the realestatenewsradio.com, realestatenewsradio.com. You can listen live there if you've got any friends. Maybe you're listening locally and you think, hey, my friends should hear this. You can tell them to go to realestatenewsradio.com. There's a link to listen live there from anywhere where you can get the internet. So maybe you can't listen in from Mars, Randy. Have they got the internet to the Mars yet?
Not quite. It's on the way.
Oh, there you go. So I always say, you can listen in Mars. That's not true. Fact checker. Oh, gosh, we need a fact checker segment. That would be so fun. We've got another jingle. Fact checker. I love it. Fact checker. Oh, I found a nice pen here. I might have to steal this one.
Yeah, I'm loving our bunkmates. I noticed in the control room now we have pads of paper, pens, and have snacks.
Ooh.
And all kinds. Whoever's moved in here, I'm liking them.
Snacks. Oh, my gosh. Well, this week we are giving a shout out to Joe Shively. He's a local builder. And he builds, he remodels, he builds, he does all kinds of stuff. And he actually called in a few weeks ago, and I asked him this week about the honey-do list, or what would you put in your new houses that maybe you haven't come across before. And he showed me this. It's basically a pocket door, but a pocket gate. So it's a pocket gate that's metal that you pull out for your doggies. Isn't that cool?
Like a pocket door?
Yeah.
So
it pulls out of the wall.
Half
Yeah.
height, yeah.
It's like a Dutch door, but the bottom of it, basically, and it's an open railing so they can stick their nose through. Of course, you could do a half door, too. How great would that be? Actually, a half pocket door would be amazing, too. Because your little kids, dogs, your spouse that can't lift their leg that high, to get over it. To keep them behind it, right? Or your Roomba. I have constant problem. I mean, this is definitely a first world problem. I get it. I have problems with my Roomba locking itself in rooms.
Can't find the door out.
Well, because the door's kind of propped open with something.
And it knocks the prop out. The door closes and locks him in the...
So obviously my doors aren't very plumb. It's an old house. And the darn thing locks itself in. So if I could pull those gates out, that would be fantastic. I have a doggy gate that just, locks off the rest of the house for Sophie. That's basically a baby gate that's stuck onto the outside of my cabinets, and it all folds up. I mean, it's a nice one and everything. But oh my gosh, to have that as a pocket door would be fantastic. So I really liked that for the honey-do list. So, yeah, if you're thinking about building a new house or remodeling, you love the house you're in. Oh, there's another segment, love the house you're in. Honey.
The song, love the one you're with.
Yeah. If you can be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with.
Do.
That one, right? So there's a honey-do list. We'd love to hear from you, of course, 828-570-9962. Something unusual or something you really wished you'd put in your house. You can hear our shows on this if you're thinking about building a home or thinking about remodeling and you want ideas. We have two of our last shows were on this subject, the whole show. And you can see them at realestatenewsradio.com. You can also search for houses there, get your cash offer, do all kinds of stuff at realestatenewsradio.com. If you're listening anywhere in the country, you can search for houses on there too. I've got links to sites all over the country, as well as getting your full market value cash offer. So I was doing a coaching call this week with a bunch of agents, and I said to them, okay, I want you all real estate agents from all over the country, and I said, I want you to challenge me. Why would anybody not do a full market value cash offer? And we could think of very little. It was interesting. So someone said, well, they might not want to wait for their money. Well, when you list your home, you're automatically waiting for your money, and it might be less money because a third of the time, if it's not a CPO home, which I highly recommend, forget the cash offer. Make sure it's CPO, get it inspected at the very least if you can afford the appraisal, and the home warranty, do that as well. Because everybody goes in eyes wide open. It gives the buyers peace of mind. And as we're shifting to more of a buyer's market, almost everywhere in the country, the market has flattened out, guys. I've been telling you this for a while. It's finally happened. It's really been happening for 2 years. You find out about it after it's happened, unfortunately. So, definitely think about getting it inspected first. So, I was saying to them, why would you not do the cash offer? And someone said, well, wait for your money. Well, here's the thing. If you list your house, so right now, 67% of the time, we list your house tomorrow, non-CPO. I'm going to bring you a check at Christmas. That's how long it takes between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's all probabilities, of course. Depends where you're at. Depends if you're, out in the country or downtown somewhere or something like that. It all depends. However, chances are you're going to get a check between Thanksgiving and Christmas, 67% of the time. Now, why not 100% of the time? Because a third of deals drop out. Why? Usually at the inspection and the appraisal stage. It's not rocket science, right? So that's when it happens. So if we do that up front, we take a lot of that, uncertainty out of the picture. I've got all kinds of blog posts and information about this. If you're interested, give us a call. 828-333-4483 if you're an agent and interested in how to do it. Same thing, I'll point you to a whole bunch of links. My first book back in 2017 that went bestseller, the biggest program in there was Certified Pre-Owned. So, and it literally tells you how to do it step by step. Or just give us a call, 828-333-4483 if you want to list anywhere in the country or thinking about selling or want your home value. You can give a call there 24/7 and we'll get some answers for you. Pretty cool. So let's go on to I'm not used to being organized like this, Randy. How are we going to get me organized? So I think we're going to talk about, I'd like to talk about interest rates because interest rates just had a drop and we're expecting a big drop next week. So let's do our interest rate segments.
Now's your time. Lock it in, don't miss the climb. Mortgage deals are looking bright. Find your home and sleep tight tonight.
Ooh, I like this stuff. Is this what I'm going to get stuck with? It's a nice fade out.
Rates are dropping, now's your time. Lock it in, don't miss the climb. Mortgage deals are looking bright. Find your home and sleep tight tonight.
There we go. So now we know because the jingle told us. Rates are dropping, now's your time. It is going to bring more buyers to the table. We've just had, we had applications for mortgages dropping. And they just hit some records again. So buyers are out there applying for mortgages. You know what that means? That means they're going to be coming to see your home. Just even a little drop makes a big difference. And of course, a lot of people are going, oh my gosh, a bigger drop's coming. So they're putting their applications in, or they're getting their applications ready and saying to their mortgage broker, well, hold off until next week to do a rate lock. So we are going to see a lot more buyers coming into the market. We're a little topsy-turvy this year. It's a little strange because it is an election year, which usually slows things down a little bit. It just, people go quiet. We're also in what I call the September shoulder for a couple of weeks there while it's usually the kids going back to school and everybody just getting steady state again. Even if you're a grandparent, that affects you as well, right? With the kids in the family going back to school, helping out the parents and just everything that comes with a new year of going to school. So everything gets a bit quiet. However, what we're seeing now are more homes coming on, so there's more choice. A lot of buyers have got very bored because there just wasn't the inventory out there. Now, for the last few months, actually, we've seen lots more homes coming on the market, and we've seen record price cuts. We haven't had price cuts like these in many, many years, and we've had, in most markets in the country, we've had 6 straight months now of price cuts. Across more homes that are listed currently compared year by year than before. So 6 straight months of price drops. That's pretty amazing. So we haven't been as low as we're at now since early 2023, which is really, really interesting. And what we need to see is what's going to happen next week. So will it be half a point? Will it be a whole point? We'll see. Probably be half a point would be my guess. Not much point just, gibbering about it. But we do expect a good drop next week. So mortgage applications, I'm just looking this up for a second, hit a 19-month high. So over a year and a half. Obviously, we need rates coming down a bit to further boost the buying. However, just remember, an interest rate between 6 and 7 is normal, and that's where we're at. It's just a lot of people in the home buying market are buying a home for the first time, and therefore, they're not used to interest rates here, which, that's where it's all at. All those people new in the market, or maybe you haven't bought a home for a long time. We have some buyers right now that haven't bought a home in a long time, and they're not in their 20s or 30s. They're just a little bit older than that. And the process is so new, and we forget as agents sometimes what we know about the process because it's all second nature to us. So, there's lots of intricacies there that your buyer's agent's going to help you through. My gosh, it's quite something buying a home. It's quite something selling a home too. I'm trying to curb myself here, Randy, because normally I just go all over the place and talk about everything. And now I have to talk about a subject. This is kind of weird. What if I run out of things to talk about? Then I can just go all over the place like I normally do, right? So mortgage interest rates update, that's pretty good news, right? Have you heard that they're coming down, Randy? Is that what you're hearing on the news?
Yeah. It's expected next week for the Fed drop the prime, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is all about Cash CPO, the full market value cash offer.
Cash fast, we've got the way. Full value for your home today. Cash CPO, a quick and clear sell with confidence, no need to fear. Be cash fast, we've got the way. Full value for your home today. Cash CPO, we're quick and clear, sell with confidence.
My gosh.
No need to fear.
That's more of a song than a jingle.
It is.
It's because it's so good, we have to say it over and over. So this is the Cash CPO full market value cash offer. And this is the update segment. What is going on out there? So we have Christian, we have Ash, we have Deanna, we have Charity, now all in those chief roles, which is pretty cool. We are representing, and there's going to be so many soon. I'm not going to be able to remember everybody's names. So we've got Christian in Ohio. Apparently, I'm having trouble now. We've got Christian in Ohio. We've got Ash in New Jersey, who just listed his first home through this. We've got Deanna in Utah, and we've got Charity, what a great name, in North Carolina, finally. Kakalaki, we're covered, which is awesome. She's got 10 teams across North Carolina, and she's going to be rolling this out across North Carolina, which is pretty cool. We need some agents here, so if you happen to be listening locally, we have all the zip codes around and about, and you love working with seniors. Working with seniors, very important, of course, and we'd love to get some help locally, and they'd like to get some help in those states as well. In fact, anywhere you are around the country, there's the opportunity to become the chief coach. The chief coach is the person who's an agent that coaches agents around their state. So, for example, Charity is going to be coaching agents around North Carolina because we have a different contract as to how to work with senior living facilities and, go in and help those seniors through that very tricky time. So how it works is that the seniors get up to 70% of their equity within 14 days, 90 if we need 90 days to clear out the house or anything like that. But normally you're getting the call when you're on the list, and then you have to move really fast. In fact, I have an agent that came into the program that was speaking to me yesterday. She's in California, Eulogy, and it was very interesting. She had a mom 2 or 3 years ago that she put into a facility. She already had Alzheimer's. She was at home. It was very expensive bringing people in to care for her, and then she really couldn't move around very well. So she really needed to be in a facility or set up with, help at home all of the time. So they had to sell the house. And that agent went to one of the cash offer companies that gave them 55%. And then they didn't even close. I mean, the story just sounded really horrible. This is 2/3 of sellers make more money than with a conventional sale. This is not your regular cash offer where, people are trying to steal your house, and anyone can use it. The nice thing is you get up to 70% within 14 to 90 days, your choice. You have no showings, nothing to fix up. Our funding partner upfronts all the money to basically flip it on your behalf. So the likelihood is you're going to get more money out of your house than you would have before, even if it only needs a few things done to it, which, by the way, all houses do, because by the time we do the inspection, we find a few things in there, and there's usually something a little bit cosmetic that we can do as well. So the seniors get access to the money within 14 days, which usually keeps them on the facility list, which is really wonderful. And we have all these great coaches now around the country. We've got 1,100 agents using the program, but we need somebody in place to really coach them to a higher level, to put their care team together. So it's not just a real estate agent. We have a care team whereby these are people who are maybe clear houses or hold your hand through going through all of the stuff and things. Often the kids are helping and they're in their 60s or 70s. So, and often they're in another state as well. So this releases enough money quickly to be able to pay people to be able to help through that and make the whole transition much smoother. And when you're going into a facility, you're often in your 70s or 80s, depending on what's going on. And, the last thing you want to think about is, nobody wants showings on the home. Nobody wants somebody poking around the house. In fact, we're just about to launch, that's the other update on the Cash CPO, we're about to launch our Diamond CPO. So Ash up in New Jersey was working out with an NFL player. And the NFL player said to Ash, I wish I'd known about this a month ago. I just sold my house. And there'd be nothing better than to be able to sell it privately, which is essentially what this is. Get 70% of my equity within 14 days. Move out so that nobody's coming into my house and taking pictures of my stuff. I know I had, it was interesting, I had a business owner locally do the cash program because they were supplying other businesses and they weren't moving far away, but they didn't want to alarm the people that they were supplying. So they didn't want to sign outside. They didn't want it out there on the MLS why they still owned it. So it was a nice way to get their money out, be able to make a non-contingent offer. They were actually going to another state, but we're in Western North Carolina, so another state is 30 minutes away either way. Am I missing any there, Randy? We're about 30 minutes to South Carolina. We're about 30 minutes to Tennessee. I'm not missing any states, am I?
No, it's about 45 to each one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
45. Well, yeah. I'm a real estate agent, so I always make it shorter, right? So we're launching that Diamond CPO. So maybe we'll give out a prize here for the person who can come up with the best name. It's really all about privacy, but private CPO, I don't know, sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But you get the idea, like somebody who wants that privacy. In fact, there's a lot of people that want the privacy that, you just don't want people poking around your house. We're going to make you that full market value offer. You don't have to have any showings. You don't have to fix anything up. It's the convenience of it. And 2/3 of the time, you're making more money than with a conventional sale. Like I said, I was coaching agents yesterday. I'm like, why would anybody take the conventional sale? And I understand if you want to. I do conventional listings. Well, actually, very seldom do I do conventional listings these days. They're what I call conventional CPO. That's where you as a seller choose to do the inspection up front and you don't have to fix anything. So if you've got your house listed now, contact your agent. You can still do this. I call it a reverse CPO. Get it inspected. Get everything, done and dusted up front so you don't have to think about it. And when it goes under contract, we don't get it under contract until we've shared that inspection report with the buyers. Whether or not you've done anything, we're just going to notate it. Usually we have done all of the cosmetic things because they're very inexpensive. You can get, Jim down the street who's a handyman or Jill down the street or whatever it is that we say these days to fix those items up for a couple $100 usually, which takes a lot of things off the list. And what I found is that when we share that inspection report with the buyer, everybody goes in eyes wide open. Of course, you can read about this in my book at Cash CPO. This is Rowena Patton. Just look me up on Amazon, Rowena Patton books. Both of the books will pop up. You can read all about this if you want to. You can also hear podcasts of the show at realestatenewsradio.com, or you can give us a call to list your house. Most people who are listing their home with me do it by phone for some reason. So 828-333-4483, 828-333-4483, and I can find you the best agents around the country who will do this now. We're growing so rapidly. And if you know any agents that need to know this, it's a very different way of doing business. There's lots of training. You don't have to join my team or even join the agency or anything like that. It's a program that they follow, so it's high-level training. It takes it away from being a door opener and being able to really demonstrate your value as an agent. And, you know, these agents will be doing 4 to 6 listings easily a month and be very specialized in any of the niches they want to. The other update on Cash CPO is we are launching Builder CPO. In fact, it's already in existence, buildercpo.com, in January. Big time. So if you know any builders, do you know any builders? Did you build a home? Did you have a great builder? I'd love to hear about them anywhere in the country. Do you know anybody that's thinking about building a home? So this program works in 2 ways. One, if a builder has a spec home, we will buy the spec home at full market value. Here's the main thing that it's used for. Builder CPO can be offered by builders to their home buyers who are having them build a home. So, you know, John and Jill are building their new home, and they go and meet Bob the builder. I like Bob the builder. That's fun. Bob the builder. And John and Jill have to sell the home. However, they're not going to list it because Bob is saying, and this is not a dig to any builders out there. I know, I know how hard it is to get a home built. You've got materials, you've got staff, you've got your construction crews, you've got the roofers, you've got the painters, you've got the inspections that you have to go through, you've got the weather, all of those things, you know, deliveries, tariffs, all of those things that go into building a house. So when you say a home is going to be ready at Thanksgiving, it might just be a week after or 2 weeks after, or even might get pushed to Christmas or the spring, you know, because of all those things that go on. So how on earth do you know when to list your house? Oh my gosh. So Builder CPO is all about us making an offer on the person who's building the new home. They also need to sell the house most of the time. We can make an offer on their home, put it in their back pocket, and we can get the money in 14 days. So we put it in their back pocket and amend anything that needs amending, get all the work done up front. So in that 14-day period, we can close, get the majority of the equity out, and put it down on the new build home. So the reason I came up with this is because I had somebody who worked for a developer called me for a position, actually, on my team, and they were moving from another state, and they said, actually, I've got to hop off the interview now, and because I've got to go and cancel a contract. I said, why have you got to cancel a contract? And he said, they couldn't sell the house. I'm like, okay, well, we have because we'd been talking about the senior living CPO. I said, you know, this works for that situation. Just go back, offer them the Builder CPO program. We'll go in, they'll get up to 70% now. They can actually close on the home that you're building. He was just going to resell the home. However, that's costs and stress for everybody, and those poor people missing out because their house hadn't sold yet. We'll buy the home, they'll get the money in 14 days. We'll relist it, we'll get them out, all of their furniture out. People can't see past furniture sometimes. You have all that big, heavy furniture in there, and let's face it, most of our houses aren't show ready. I know mine isn't right now. My little dog, Sophie's sitting there probably barking at people if I was selling it. Yeah, I can't even imagine. See, I need that pull-out gate.
The Roomba's stuck in the bedroom and can't get out.
Oh, my gosh. The Roomba's stuck in the bedroom. Sophie's barking at the Roomba.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't even imagine going through that. I went through it just a year ago. Last spring, we had our house on the market, and it's not fun. Agents might tell you they'll make it as seamless as possible, and I will tell you the same thing. However, you still got to get your spouses out, your dogs out, your kids out, and, you know, not be there for that period. You're not sure when people have left, people are in your house. I don't know. It's just not fun. So it takes all this off the table. But most importantly, in the Builder CPO, which we're launching Jan 1, for agents, it's exclusive to zip code. So they get to market the program in that particular zip code. Why do I do that? So I don't have all these agents overlapping each other. I don't want 3 agents going to see the same builder and offering the same program. That doesn't make any sense. And as agents, we are hit constantly. I know, but nobody's going to say poor real estate agents. You'd be surprised. The average real estate agent earns about $28,000. And it's not for the faint of heart. It really is, when you do it properly, a very intricate job. We actually do a lot, I promise. So this is a program whereby, as an agent, you get an exclusive zip code or 5 exclusive zip codes, or our chief coaches have the entire state, and then you use their zip codes. So it's exclusive to you. What you don't know, people who are listening, is that as agents are spending thousands of dollars a month to get leads from Zillow. When you go on to Zillow, for example, I'm not picking on Zillow, there's other companies that do it as well. But when you go on Zillow and you go contact agent, those agents are paying to be on there. Right? So to get those leads. So this is a program where you're not paying thousands of dollars a month. You can do it from $25 a month, which I'm an agent too. I wanted something that was exclusive and inexpensive and had no referral fees. So I won't mention the programs, but I was in 3 different programs where I was paying $300 or $400 a month, including one whereby I was giving back to veterans. I was paying hundreds of dollars to be in that program. And then I was paying a 30% referral fee. 25% went to the veterans. It's a great program. But that was a huge amount of money. Now we're proud to be partners with Tunnel to Towers, T2T.org. And agents are getting the cash offers because they want to give back. People are using the cash offer because they want to give, if anything they make over the 100% they thought they were going to get as a home seller, they can give back 5% of their profit that they make over a conventional sale to Tunnel to Towers. Or they can sign up for Tunnel to Towers. It's $11 a month, and we'll match you through the Tunnel to Towers program. So I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm already signed up. So I'll match you and give a one-off donation or something like that. But it's an amazing organization that pays off mortgages for fallen police, firefighters. Frank Siller lost his brother at 9/11. It's a very good time to mention this. We should do a whole show, actually, on T2T, Tunnel to Towers. It's really just an incredible organization where they pay off the mortgages, and he lost his brother, and he formed this in remembrance of his brother. And to help others, obviously, and it's his life's work at this point. They're a very small, tight organization, which means that they give most of the money that you donate across. It's a very, very high level, which is why I went with them. So just an incredible organization. I think that covers our updates on Cash CPO. So we're going to go over to our segment, What's New, if that's okay with you, Randy.
What's new, what's hot in real estate today? Trends are shifting, don't delay. The Real Estate News Radio shows your way to stay ahead and win the day.
I'm gonna go ride in my pickup truck.
I know, right?
In real estate today.
Well, everyone loves country. That was my thought process.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about Montana today. It's so interesting how the housing market is doing things for Senate races. Effects in politics. And this story is new to me as well. It's brand new. This just came out yesterday, actually, so it's kind of interesting. So in a subdivision, and this is from, if you want to read this, it's on CNBC. It's called Montana's Hot Housing Market Heats Up Critical Senate Race. So now I'm your talking news. How about that, Randy? Can we be the talking news?
You can.
Awesome. In a subdivision near the northern edge of town, a number of condos and duplexes have popped up in the past 3 years. It's part of a larger effort, including new zoning laws to help provide affordable housing to Montanans who have found themselves priced out of the market. Sound familiar? Says DJ Smith, president of the Montana Association of Realtors. For Montanans, it's been harder and harder to find a home that meets their needs and is affordable, he said. In an influx of out-of-state residents relocating to the Big Sky State, this has sent demand soaring while a shortage of labor keeps housing supply limited. The result is not only more condos and duplexes, but a hot-button issue in a Senate race that could ultimately decide who controls the chamber. While some Democrats are sweating it out in close races across the country, no incumbent has a harder re-election than Democrat Senator John Tester. I was hoping he didn't have a difficult name there. Who will need to win that state that Trump won by 16 percentage points in 2020. Kind of interesting. So Tester has made housing a cornerstone of his campaign, specifically how to help Montanans. I feel like we're watching an episode of Yellowstone here. Montanans who have been priced out as more people have moved to the state, driving up housing prices. We're seeing a lot of folks coming into the state, rich folks who want to try and buy our state to change it to something it's not, Tester said at a June 9th debate hosted by the Montana Broadcast Association. That's, first of all, it does sound like Yellowstone, and secondly,
it does.
It's so familiar to hear, you know, because we are one of those markets that people have consistently moved to since COVID, actually. We've had a huge influx of people.
What's the percentage of people who come here and pay cash for a home?
It's very high, actually.
A third?
And I think, yes, and I think it's over that. And it depends, you know, which city, which
specific area,
absolutely, yes, and what price point too. The price point's very important in that, because a lot of people have out-of-state addresses. It's all in how you look at the data. So that's where the fact checker. Can we just come up with just do a fact checker jingle, Randy? Go for it. Can't do it. So, yeah, it's interesting. So, yes, a lot of people come in paying cash, but the data is kind of skewed because somebody who's out of state, it may not be a second home. It may be an Airbnb or a VRBO. A lot of people are coming in paying cash for those. And remember, of course, we also have the STR CPO. A lot of short-term rental owners, Airbnb, VRBO, don't want to sign outside, especially as you make more of your money starting year 2. People are coming back as return visitors. So you don't want that sign outside where people are coming back as return visitors who say, oh my gosh, they're selling it, or this is kind of weird. You know, you don't want to stay in a place that's being sold. It just feels weird. Even if you go into a hotel and there's a sign outside, it feels like it's not doing well or something, you know?
And you certainly won't book the second year on that.
Right. You're not going to book again because it's like, oh, this won't be here next year. That's terrible, you know? So, yeah, they lose business through that because you build your real money on top of the bedrock of people that come back. When you have a great VRBO or a great Airbnb, people come back the next year. So, you know, the STR owners don't want to sign outside and go through all of that. So they can get their money in 14 days and then turn that around and make a non-contingent offer on the next STR or VRBO in their portfolio. And you'd be amazed how many people are doing this. People are doing this as a living. I met with a couple last week, actually, who are selling a house here, and they live in Colorado, and they have a portfolio of 6 homes. And, you know, they and their kids go and visit the homes as vacation spots all around the country. So
cool.
It's like their second home, but they also make money off it, and all of them pay the mortgage and make a little bit extra. So it's like a fantastic pension plan for them, which is amazing.
So, yeah, that's a good plan.
But we do have a program. So, well, what I sat down with that family with is I sat down and said, okay, I want you to put in order the ones that make you the most money. Let's chip off the bottom one. And these are all over the country because I can help them with an STR CPO expert agent in their area, wherever it is. We've got agents all over the country now who are trained to do this, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, Montana's hot housing market heats up critical Senate race. This is happening all over the country. Housing is such a huge hot button. We say it's the economy, stupid, but when you actually look at it, the housing market follows the economy. And if your mortgage has gone up or you can't afford a house, that's a pretty critical thing in the big scheme of things, right? If you're looking at policies that are going to attack capital gains, for example, if you're an investor or maybe you've owned your house less than 2 years, maybe you got sick, you're going to have to pay more capital gains should some of the policies actually come forward, because we're a country that needs to find money from somewhere. And you may not know this. Many people who live here don't know this. We're one of the very few countries that offer the tax-free gains when you sell a house. So, you can make around $500,000 as a married couple profit on your house and not pay any taxes on that at all. That's why a lot of realtors move every 2 years. As a single person, you can get $250. It's $500 for a married couple. So, keep it clean, move out every 2 years. I mean, who wants to do that really? But you can definitely make money that way. But you definitely want to keep it for that 2-year period when it's in that. But it's definitely worth thinking of. My gosh. But you can imagine when houses are, in short, it feels like they're in short supply. They're really not. If you're listening locally, mountainhomehunt.com. If you want a great site anywhere else, all sites are not built the same for your home hunting, trust me. And you want it to be with the agent you're working with. Why? That's one of the benefits of having a buyer's agent, because the ones with great websites, and they cost a lot of money, they cost thousands of dollars a month. The ones with great websites can see what you're searching on in the back end when you put a heart on that property. It's like, I really like that property. You don't have to then take a screenshot of something on some of the big box websites you've looked at, which are often under contract already, or all the data's not there. You know why? Because they're selling leads and they want to bring in more potential home buyers to the realtors because they make more money. So some of the data is not up to date. So use your agents, and your agents are going to email you a property. You can hit reply and go, yes, please. They can set you up with an automatic search to your parameters. Just don't make those parameters too tight wherever you're searching in the country. The tighter you make that, you want about 40 properties in your search at any one time. That's a good way to gauge it. If you've got 40, you're going to have a good choice. In other words, go onto your realtor's site. And again, if you're thinking about moving somewhere else, even if you're just thinking about it now, let me get you with an agent, because they can start sending you properties. It's what I always advise people to do. I'm helping somebody with a cash offer right now, and they're going off to Florida. And I got that person set up with the search in Florida, and with that agent, so that they could go and do video tours for them, because obviously Florida's a different state to North Carolina. And we actually put a non-contingent offer on because of the cash offer here, which is really cool. So, let me get you with an agent, 828-333-4483. Let me know where you're looking. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years out, honestly. At least you can start looking at properties and watch the market properly. That means, you can say to your realtor in confidence what it is you're looking for in a home, what kind of areas you don't want to be in, what kind of areas you do want to be in. And they can set you up with a search that reflects that. And you can start watching the market. Great agents are patient. I've been working with some of my people for 17 years now. But yeah, it's kind of interesting what's new. That's all I'm going to do for that one. What's new in real estate? That's all politics there. We could make it about politics all the time with real estate, because, when houses mean a lot in politics. Here's why. When you buy a new house, you spend a lot of money in the local community. How do you do that? You go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace. You bring in all the other little, handy shops. You go to all kinds of stores and buy towels and bedding. You spend a lot of money in the community. You employ contractors. You employ painters. You employ plumbers, electricians. You go and buy appliances. It floods an amount of money in. You also spend that getting your house ready, possibly. Of course, if you're using the Cash CPO, our funding partners will upfront you the money so that you don't have to spend yours. But that money is still flowing into the local economy. And by the way, for those of you who have asked, is it American money? It's absolutely American money. You'll know me by now. I would not get in bed with a company that is bringing in money from other companies. This is American money we're using. And we're flooding it into the local economy because we're flipping your house on behalf of you. There is no other program like this. That's why you usually make more money. You don't have to go through the flipping part. You can get out of your house, take the majority of your equity, and then we'll give you a check at stage 2. Your house is going to end up being a certified pre-owned listing. They sell faster. They sell for more money. You don't have to go through the stress of fixing anything. I mean, it just makes sense, right? But for the economic purposes, when you don't have lots of home sales going on, which we haven't, by the way, for the last 18 months in comparison, for most months at least, that money isn't flowing. People aren't getting their houses ready. People aren't spending the money to get the house ready. They're not doing the pre-inspections. Even the support crews to that, the inspectors, for example, we're not using the inspectors. We're not using the local attorneys. We're not using the real estate attorneys. And we're not using the deep cleaners. We're not using the staging companies as much. There are even companies set up, and I use one, to support realtors in their closings. You know, they do all of the paperwork and upload it to all the right places, because most of us who are in real estate marketing and sales are not really wired to do the paperwork. Or, you know, we're out there negotiating and putting your house in front of people, so we're not doing the paperwork. There are companies for that. Guess what? They suffer when all of this money isn't flowing, and that hits the economy. The biggest part it hits the economy, in my humble opinion, is that when you sell your house, it releases a lot of money, especially if you're right sizing. So let's say, and this is very common, especially as we're working in senior living, we're seeing this a lot. So we have 1,100 agents using this. If you're interested, guys, go to seniorlivingcpo.com, seniorlivingcpo.com. There's a video on there that explains it from the side of the facility. If you know anybody that works in a facility or a senior community, please let them know about this, because we want all of the communities on our database. There's a button at seniorlivingcpo.com, seniorlivingcpo.com, that says add facility. Go ahead and add the facility on there. It only takes about 5 minutes. We're going to have the biggest map of communities in the country, and it's going to make it much easier for seniors and their kids. I love calling them the kids because they're in their 60s, right? Much easier for seniors and their kids to look up a community and get all the answers, because we're asking a dozen questions when we go in, so that all our seniors or the kids of seniors who are asking about facilities available, you know, often, for example, it might be the kid who's in their 60s or 70s in San Francisco that is calling us on behalf of their mom or dad that's in North Carolina and in our area. They don't know the facilities around. We're going to have the data on these facilities where you can compare apples for apples. Of course, we want you to go on a tour, but sometimes you're not local. So we're going to have all of that data where you don't have to go and research it in 10 different places on all the different websites. You know, there's 30 facilities within 30 minutes drive. I can land a spot here. There's 30 facilities within a 30-minute drive. How on earth do you compare 30 facilities? So we're having all of the fees on there, for example. How much is it from and to? Very important for them to put that in. What kind of services do they offer? There's a whole sheet on there where we're gathering all of the data. So we really want agents locally, and we really want communities locally as we launch this here. Quite honestly, I've spent the last 6 weeks launching it nationwide, and I haven't launched it here. Maybe I was using everybody else as guinea pigs. Don't tell them. Anyone that's listening in around the country, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we definitely want to get that roaring here. So if you know anybody that works at a facility, have them go to seniorlivingcpo.com. If you know any agents that love working with seniors, if you know anybody that is a caring partner for seniors that take them through the process, or anybody that works in that industry, let us know, because we'd like to help put those, the care package together, the care team together, and know what's going on in every area. So we've got that whole care team with a checklist where we can put it in one place, because it's one of the most difficult times in your life when you're going or helping somebody go into senior living. 29 months is the average that somebody stays, and that's with our program. Without this program, it's 24 months. That's because it takes 4 or 5 months to sell the house. That really sucks when you're in your 80s, guys. You know, having to have those showings and the sign outside and everything else. That's why I'm so passionate about this one. I'm also passionate about helping builders, because I got into real estate in 2007. In 2008, the market collapsed pretty much everywhere in the country. Economic cycle, Clement Juglar, 1860 set it up, nothing much has changed. We're in that next cycle now, 3.5 to 5.5 years as we flatten or reduce in prices. You're already seeing those price reductions. We don't know how far it will go down. However, if it follows the pattern since 1860, it's going down. So as it does that, obviously, we don't have time as a senior when we're in our 80s and we're going into senior living to wait it out 10 years until prices come back to the height again, because they always have before. Why won't they again? There's no guarantee, but that's a very, very high likelihood. It's going to be worth more in 10 years than it is now, and that's for everyone. Hold on to your house if you can. It's going to be worth more in 10 years. Or rent it out. Keep hold of it when you buy your new one. I know that sounds weird because I'm a real estate agent and I want to make commission. However, I want it right for you, whatever that looks like. You don't want to hold it for 10 years if you're going into senior living, obviously. If you're getting in divorce, you probably don't want to either. There are different scenarios where you could do that. I could do a whole show on divorce. We also have divorce CPO, of course. So, think about keeping hold of it. We're going to have that care team in place for the seniors, helping them transition out where they can get their money in 14 days. Imagine only having that 29 months and spending 4 of it, selling your house and having people traipsing in and out. That is not fun at all. Do we have any other segments, Randy? Did I get through them all? I'm so proud of myself.
Chief Coach Corner.
Well, you know what? We're going to play the Chief Coach Corner because I'm just going to give a shout out to all the coaches. Go for it.
In the CPO Chief Coach's Corner, leaders stand tall, guiding with vision, inspiring us all, coaching with heart, driving success. Together we're building the very best.
Oh, yeah. That's a shout out to my coaches. So we've got Ash in New Jersey. We've got Christian. Oh, I won't be able to do this forever because, the numbers are growing. We've got Christian in Ohio. We've got Charity in North Carolina. Yay! Go North Carolina, finally. We've got a chief coach there building out the agents in North Carolina. And last but not least, we have Deanna Allen, who used to manage a community for 24 years. She was over the whole region eventually. She's joined us as the chief in Utah. It's so fun because I get to speak to people, different walks of life, all over the country. Ash called me yesterday all excited because he was working out with I mentioned that earlier, with the NFL player and how he would have wanted our Diamond CPO or whatever we end up calling it, because it was all private. It's so much fun. It's elevated what I'm doing and the fun I'm having day to day. Every day. Ash said the same thing yesterday. He's like, I'm just so grateful to be in this. I'm having so much fun. It's completely different to what we used to do in real estate. And, this is a guy who's going out to communities in his own area and he's coaching agents all over New Jersey. But he's absolutely loving it. The first time he said, I don't know if I want to go into this. He went into one. They sent him home with cookies. Now he's getting introduced to these networking events and coming in and doing an open house for other agents to, coach and train them on how to help seniors through this stage. And then next year in January, he'll be kicking off the Builder CPO, which is really cool in New Jersey. So that's how it works for our coaches. So a big shout out to our coaches and the leadership team around the country doing this. If you want to list your house locally or anywhere in the country, give us a call. 828-333-4483. This is Rowena Patton. See you next week.
This has been the Plain English Real Estate Show with Rowena Patton. Visit Rowena and post your questions at radioasheville.com or call her at 828-210-1648.